You're listening to the Brilliant Breakthroughs podcast with Jake Naraki, all about energy for your mind and body. Hey guys, welcome back to the Brilliant Breakthroughs podcast. I'm your host, Jake Naraki. Now, this podcast in particular is associated with an Amazon best-selling book in two categories of entrepreneurship and small business. And if you're looking to get your hands on the best tools, the best topics, the best ways to enhance your small business in 2017 and beyond, make sure you head on over to Amazon and pick up the book called Brilliant Breakthroughs for the Small Business Owner, Fresh Perspectives on Profitability, People, Productivity, and Finding Peace in Your Business. Now, if you want to check us out and you don't feel like you want to buy the whole book just yet, well, we got a great offer for you. All you have to do is go to our bit.ly link and you can get 100 free tips to help your small business succeed. They are a free gift from us to you to make sure that you succeed in the 21st century. All you have to do is go to our bit.ly link, which is bit.ly/brilliant-biz book, and once you go there, exchange your email, we will send you 100 free tips to make sure you succeed. Now, a little bit about myself. I am, of course, a part of the book Brilliant Breakthroughs for the Small Business Owner. My chapter in particular was about podcasting. I help, small businesses, large businesses, corporations build podcasts for their business to have extra exposure. And in that trajectory of my new small business, it's kind of leapfrogging off of a current business that I run, which is called Operation Self-Reset, where it's basically a personal development platform where, I help individuals kind of break through the madness and gaining confidence and self-esteem. I host a 3-day awesome live event that is just brilliant and amazing, and I can't wait for the next one, which is going to be in 2018, September 8th, 9th, and 10th. And if you're interested, go to selfresetpower.com. But before I keep on just pitching what I'm doing, I want to share with you something that I discovered and I shared on my own personal show called Operation Self-Reset. And in that show, I understood that in the trajectory of us becoming amazing small business owners, of us becoming amazing individuals, there's something that holds us back, and it's energy. Energy of the mind, energy of the body. And in that investigation, I understood that there was one key component that is missing in the regards of understanding what it takes for us to bring our best selves every single day. Now, we all know it's the simple things done over time that usually creates the biggest results. But in most cases, especially when you start to get into the research of neuroscience, of molecular level diagnostics, there is a lot of jargon, a lot of craziness. And I really boil it down to one keyword. And that keyword that we're going to be talking about today is called mitochondria. And mitochondria is basically, at its essence, a cell within a cell that is the generator. And there's 1,000 little generators inside of each cell within our human body. Now, I don't want to ruin for the description and the content for you. I'm going to kind of pull a snippet out of my episode that I just released recently about mitochondria, and hopefully it benefits you. And the reason why I'm offering it to you is because to be our best, to have clear minds, to have clear goals, objections, is not so much are you journaling, are you waking up early, are you doing all the kind of quote-unquote personal development things to get yourself in the right direction. It literally starts with what you're putting into your body. We understand if you put junk in, you're going to get junk out. But how can we make sure that we go to our business with energy, conviction, passion, and charisma to make sure that we're making an impact? It starts with what you're putting in. So here is a little snippet of my other show, Operation Self-Reset, about mitochondria and how it can benefit you, and some easy takeaway tips for you to start that kind of wake-up call, that wake-up procedure to enhance your life, for your small business or for your family, whatever kind of direction is most important to you right here, right now. Enjoy my little snippet from my other podcast show, Operation Self-Reset. So the reason why this kind of started for me personally, I was reading a new book by Dave Asprey. And Dave Asprey, I don't know if you guys heard of him. He's the guy that kind of created the bulletproof coffee. It's putting butter or coconut oil in your coffee, blending it up, drinking it, and then it helps give you more energy, longer kick with the caffeine. all the quote-unquote health benefits that are associated with it. And as I started reading this book, there's a lot of good research and science behind how our body functions, how our body gets energy. And energy comes from this super small, microscopic powerhouse. And these powerhouses are filled within each cell. And so I'm going to say that it is mitochondria. Mitochondria is basically these little power generators that live inside of our cells. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, how many cells live in the human body first off? Well, science has kind of varied. There's between 15 to 70 trillion cells in the human body. All different shapes, all different forms, all are used in different assets. But the reoccurring theme inside of every single cell is that there's thousands, yes, thousands of these small little generators called mitochondria that live inside of each one of those cells. So you have 1,000 of these mitochondria, basically little power generators, inside of each cell. So one cell has 1,000 mitochondria. The human body has between 15 to 70 trillion cells. So I don't even do the math on that. I don't even know what the next term beyond trillion, quadrillion, whatever it is. It's a monumental task. And so the question is, and with the research, and this is based on research, this isn't Jake's just ideas or what I think on how things work, is that they understand with research and documentation that by taking care of the mitochondria, you can take care of your body. You can increase your brain power, you can increase your overall energy, and you can increase your overall well-being, as in taking care and fortifying your body so that you're not on medication, you're not in irritation, you're not in inflammation, and of course, you will live a better and healthier life. Again, this is not me, this is science. Do your own research if you feel that I'm not correcting or getting it right. So I'm not going to really dive deep into the research papers or what Stanford or Harvard did, and they did a test of 10 to 20 people and all these craziness. But what I'm going to really boil down is, how do we take care of our mitochondria to the point that we can reap the benefits of getting great energy for brain power and body power, to remove medications, for us to function healthy and well-being, and for us to perform at our highest. Now, the reason why I feel that this is so important is because I do this thing called the awesome sauce, where you stand in a position of power and you scream at the top of your lungs, I'm freaking awesome. It's more of a statement, a power move, a whatever you want to call it, to kind of connect with who we are and what we're about, for us to kind of rise up to the occasion of what we have to give to this world, because we all have more to give than what we're currently giving. And in the moment when we scream, I'm freaking awesome, it feels good. You get this tingle, you get this energy, you get almost like this vibration around your body. And there's a lot of other ways to create that type of energy, right? From bouncing in place, to listening to music and dancing, to screaming, to shouting, to moving your face, to smiling for 10 minutes on end, from slapping and doing qigong, to all these different unique ways to get that energy up in our body. And I think that's really crucial, right? But as we know, with motivation, or watching a motivational video or listening to motivational content, it only lasts so far, because when we get distracted, our energy kind of starts to dip, and then we start to go into a regular routine. And so by me stating what I'm going to state here of how do we take care of those small power generators inside of each one of our cells, to the point of it can carry on that energy longer than screaming, I'm freaking awesome, longer than doing or striking a power pose or dancing or jumping up and down, longer than doing qigong or doing any other technique on meditation on how to bring that energy up into our being. This is going at the molecular level. I don't even know if I said that right, but it's based off of the simple principles of what you know you should be doing, as more of a wake-up call on what we should be doing on a regular basis, instead of knowing more of the doing aspect. Because a lot of us listen to podcasts or different types of show, and we know we should do this. We know we should do that. We know how to do that, or we know we should or shouldn't, or whatever the case may be. But the chances are you really doing it? Between the know and the do is a huge gap, and hopefully I can force you into the doing as opposed to just knowing. And so the research goes like this. How do we take care of the mitochondria to the point that it can absolutely change our energy levels? We know the understanding that if our energy is increased, we are able to output more things. And output can come in different facets, from our brain power to our body power, to the way that we perform, and of course, the emotions that are associated with it. Did you know that there's a huge relationship between our gut health and our emotional well-being? Did you know that a lot of depression and anxiety resides in the gut, in the bacteria that lies within the gut? And there's a huge connection between the types of food that we put into our body to the way that our body reacts and the way that we feel. We kind of understand that if we put bad in, we're going to get somewhat of bad out. But chances are that you don't understand what kind of bad stuff you're putting in, because you probably have drifted into a comfort zone. You have drifted into an area where you're kind of used to buying the same things at the grocery store. And so here we go. I'm going to wake you up, and I'm going to have you guys start to understand what you need to bring more of into your lifestyle, so that you can get the benefits of the mitochondria to be firing on all cylinders, those thousands of generators inside of each cell. So each of those 15 to 70 trillion cells in your body can be firing all at once for you to perform at your highest. Because a reset is nothing more than getting back to your fundamental principles. But imagine that if you resetted yourself, and instead of just turning on your hard drive, you turned on the turbo Intel Core 9000 turbo hard drive. That would be pretty freaking awesome, wouldn't it be? So the first thing that they suggest when it comes to enhancing the mitochondria is, number one, making sure that we have the basics covered. Number one, breathing, right? As in taking those breaths, making sure that we're in clean environments. Easier said than done. If you live in a city where there's smog or there's a lot of crap in the air, try to get yourself into an environment or outside of the city every once in a while to get the good air into your body, and or buy a purifier to purify your air in your home. May not be ideal for most people, so that's why I'm going to go to the things that we can actually control. Number two is water. You can go weeks, 10 days without food, but you can only last a couple of days without water. Water is crucial. For me personally, I drink between 2 to 3 gallons of water every single day. I don't say that to impress you. I say that because I had really severe migraines, and I did my own research that a lot of migraines and head irritation comes from a lack of hydration, and so I kind of got hooked on drinking a copious amounts of water. For you, I suggest that you increase it at least by 1 liter a day. That is a challenge to you. It's not so much a suggestion, it's a challenge that I'm throwing in your lap to see if you take it. The second idea off of water is to make sure that you get your water from a good source. Now, I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. About 10 years ago, we had a horrible cryptosporidium breakout, which just wiped out the population here in the Milwaukee area. Some people died from dehydration. It irritated a lot of people. Bottled water was running off the shelves. And as we can see through the country, through the world, clean water is an issue. And so supposedly after the crypto issue, they rehabbed the whole water plant, and supposedly we have the best water in the country. I don't know. I mean, that's what they're selling us on TV anyway. Who knows if it's true? But anyway, try to make sure that you're getting your water from a good source. Now, of course, if you're not getting it from the city, and just get a regular filter system, and or buy yourself a gallon of bottled water once a day. You can go to Walmart and get yourself a very good purified spring water. Get a spring water, not purified water, because spring water is moving water. Moving water has a little more elements and minerals in it as opposed to purified water. Purified water is basically everything is stripped out of it. And so if you were to buy a gallon of water or water off a shelf or whatever the case may be, try to get it from a spring water source as opposed to a pure or a purified water source. It gives you a little extra minerals to help that body out. I'm not saying that you need to go to the store and buy a gallon of water, but I'm just suggesting suggesting it that if you live in an area where you know your water is not ideal, the best way to start flushing out the toxins out of your mitochondria is to start drinking copious amounts of water. The water is not designed for you just to feel good and, hydrated. Of course, those are the benefits. But the real key here is that you want to start flushing out the toxins out of that mitochondria. The only way to do that is to take iodine, which is iodine is in seaweed and a couple other vegetables. You can do your own research, but iodine is crucial for really pulling and extracting those toxins inside of your body and pulling them out and excreting them through way. So let's get into the real context here. All right, we understand that food is probably the most potent source for myelin to thrive off of. Number one, if you don't get anything else out of this episode in particular, sugar is the criminal. Sugar is the guy that will deteriorate your body quicker than anything else. If you want to improve your myelin, you have to start by decreasing the amount of sugar that you eat per day. That may start by just removing one soda can. That may start by removing one sugar packet from your coffee, or wherever the case may be. You know how much sugar you're putting into your body. Start the process of at least removing some of it today or tomorrow, depending on when you start this. It's not easy to do. You enjoy your sweets. I get it. Our body is trained. Different neurons in our brain fires when we have sugar, so it feels really good, but you're really harming your mitochondria extensively by keeping that sugar in your system. So the first thing that we need to do is to make sure that we're eating our greens. I know I've said it before, you heard this before. Again, it's nothing new, but the vitamins that we need from our greens are vitamin B, A, C, and K. And if you're looking for the one source, the one green that you could start to eat today that could alter the mitochondria in your body to start to generate more energy for you, for your overall well-being, that would be kale. Kale has the most diverse network of vitamins within one green vegetable. Spinach is really good. Popeye the Sailor Man, he's awesome. He has big muscles. But kale is the new power green out there in the world that punches a lot more diverse vitamins than just spinach alone. So if you're looking to incorporate one green in your diet specifically, head for kale, of course. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, I'm unable to get real fresh vegetables wherever I'm at, try to do your due diligence and do your homework and research and get a green supplement from some type of green drink online. I'm not affiliated with any green drink. Maybe I should start making my own or private labeling the company that I absolutely love, because there's a lot of benefits of getting your greens in, and chances are you're not getting them in on a daily basis because you don't have the time. Having fresh produce in your fridge is hard to do. You only shop once a week. By the time you get it in your fridge, it rots. You don't eat it all the time. You don't like the taste of it, all that stuff. I get it. I'm a human too. So if you want to incorporate more greens into your diet, you need to start to get those any way possible. And if they come in the powder form, then go for it. You need to start enhancing that mitochondria today. The second thing is you need to start incorporating sulfur-rich food. The sulfur-rich foods are basically boiled down to a couple things that you know well. Your cabbages, your broccolis or cauliflowers, and your onions. Now, if you don't like any of those, well, then you got to figure out some other sulfur foods that you can start to implement. They say, statistically and research-based, that sulfur-rich foods are exactly what the mitochondria need to thrive. And to thrive, that means to live and to be abundant and to be strong. The greens, the kale, will be able to give it the fuel. The mitochondria is going to be the high-quality furnace that fuel is going into, if that makes sense to you. The last thing that you need to incorporate more of is colors from fruits or vegetables. They leave that very open-ended. The more color in the fruit or the vegetable will be beneficial for the free radicals and the antioxidants that can benefit the overall kind of house that furnace is in, aka the mitochondria. Because like I said, there's thousands of those inside of each cell. And so the kale is the fuel. The sulfur-rich foods are the high quality, very robust, very awesome furnace, and then the colors is basically the structure, the structure of the house that that furnace lives in, to make sure it's strong, tight, and we can really benefit from that fuel that is getting generated. Now, the last thing is iodine. Iodine, like I said, is very crucial because it is one of the only I don't want to say supplements, but one of the only vitamins. I don't even know if iodine is a vitamin, but man, I'm really tripping on my tongue here. Iodine is one of the only things that will remove and excrete toxins from the mitochondria. So if you're looking to kind of start to flush your body, iodine is very plethora rich in seaweed. And you're thinking, oh, seaweed, there's no way I can eat seaweed. It comes in two forms. It comes dried in like little trays. You can get them at health stores. You can buy them in bulk at Costco or Sam's Club, or they come in a powder form too. You can actually get green powdered drinks with iodine or seaweed included for those health benefits. Now, of course, there are some other things that we need to do. We need to consistently move, right? We need to sweat. Sweating is the process of removing, kind of opening up our pores and removing the water that we have drank from our spring source and kind of getting that rotational basis, almost like a water wheel. Water goes in, it kind of rotates down and it gets kicked out. The more that water wheel is spinning, the better your body's going to function. And then lastly, if we want to make sure that our mitochondria is able to regenerate, there are two things that we can do. Number one, have better quality sleep. That means reducing our caffeine around 2 p.m. before we go to bed. And then, of course, the blue light, which is the criminal of zapping our ability to fall asleep quicker, better, and have a high quality sleep. So those are the two kind of things I want to throw at you. Anything more is going to be way too much. And then the last thing that you should be looking into on your own would be to fasting. Fasting is basically stating that from the time I'm done eating dinner, I'm not going to eat for 12 or 18 hours until the next meal. And the theory behind fasting is that it allows your body a break from digesting food on a regular basis to start to kind of repair things that are going on within your body. And the same applies to the mitochondria inside of the cell. Cell repair only happens when you are at rest or you're not eating. When you start to eat, even though it's really good food, even though it's really high quality food, your body throws a lot of energy to break up that madness inside of your gut, to extract it, to remove it, to push it down, to move it left and right, all those different types of things. And if you feel that your body needs a little bit of repair, if your skin isn't looking as good as it could be, or your body isn't healing as well as it should, try fasting, do your own homework. I'm not a scientist or a doctor. Do your own business on that retrospect. So that is truly the idea behind mitochondria. When I realized this, it was more of a slap in the face, like, all right, man, I got to get my stuff together here. This is ridiculous. I've really been slacking here on the green vegetables. I've been doing a good job of having general good well-being in eating, but this was a good wake-up call for me, especially during a time when we're going to be throwing a lot of things down our throats that is not going to be ideal. This isn't saying that you need to shock the whole body and throw everything away, but this is a reminder of what you need to be doing. If you feel that you're dragging, you're not clear on your thoughts, if you're not having energy, you're sleeping in, you're unable to always quote unquote make it to the gym because you have other things going on, all those different types of things that are quote unquote holding you back, this can be a wake-up call for you to get yourself back in the saddle of getting some good energy for you. Because like I said early on in this podcast, your body is your vessel. It is your thing that will be with you from the start and to the finish. And if you want to have a very long, healthy finish line, then you got to start taking care of your body. And I don't care if you're 20 or 90 years old right here, right now. Anything that you do to improve yourself will have results guaranteed. I can't give you a money back guarantee because this is a free show. But with that, it is a great way for you guys to at least start the process of understanding what can you do today to get yourself in the mindset of getting a good energy level. So there you guys go. I just had to share that little bit of information to make sure that your mitochondria can be a huge asset to your performance in your small business. There's a lot of things that we can do on a daily basis to make sure we're bringing our best. And one of those needs to be making sure that we're putting good things into our body to get the best benefits. Now, hopefully this applies to you. And like I said in the episode, it's more of a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call for me to kind of get back on the horse. I'm a huge fan of green smoothies. Sometimes you kind of go through these peaks and valleys, these lulls and do's and do nots. And it's one of those things that I want to start doing and implementing more of in my life for my family to reap the benefits of the great mitochondria. And the only way to do that is to start by putting great greens, great fruits, great vegetables back into my diet to make sure that I can have great performance for my customer, for my family, for everybody that is associated with my small business. So hopefully this applies to you. If it does, great. If it doesn't, hopefully we'll catch you next week, Wednesday, for another great episode of Brilliant Breakthroughs podcast. And from here on out, expect to get this show delivered to your device anyway, anyhow, every single Wednesday. Every single Wednesday, we're going to be launching a new show for you. So with that being said, I appreciate your time. I thank you very much. Hopefully this created an impact and a quote-unquote breakthrough in your own personal business and your life. And until next week, Wednesday, go out there and do something brilliant in your business today. We'll see ya.